Here's the right paper. All right. Good evening.
Your Honor, jail here.
Yes.
So Mr. Burdette, Richard refused.
All right.
Next one, Ibarra Lawrence. He's being sent down right now. And then Gonzalez Kevin, he's at the hospital.
All right. So I will continue Mr. Burdette's case until the morning. And then it was Mr. Gonzalez who was at the hospital?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will also continue him to the morning. Where's that again? So sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all here.
It's right here.
No, here.
No, here. Okay.
One below. And down to AM. And then just mark. He refused. Approve.
And then Gonzalez. That's Kevin, not Chavez.
Yeah, babe. Oh, that was great.
All right. Good evening, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
Aaron Gary Wooten.
Thank you.
It is 102. No, you've got the file there.
Oh,
City Court.
City Court.
102.
102.
Yeah,
All right.
because Ibarra's come, they're bringing him. Back.
Great.
Can you bring me some office menu? Or send somebody for you?
All right, Mr. Wooten, this is the time
That's all.
set for your initial appearance on charges of assault, domestic violence, criminal damage to property, and disorderly conduct, also domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney, and we are appointing the city public defender to represent you. Their phone number will be on the information you receive. And regarding your conditions of release, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $2,500 that is cash or secured. Should you post that bond, I am further ordering that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you have no contact of any kind with your girlfriend, Amber Moore, and that would start immediately, even if you remain in custody, that you do not go to her residence. If you are released, would you need to pick up some of your belongings from that residence?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, so I will order that you may return one time with law enforcement to retrieve your personal belongings. You would just take this order to the nearest law enforcement office, and they would escort you to the property to obtain your belongings.
Thank you.
You are ordered to appear at your future hearings. Your next hearing is a video review on February 12th at 1:30 p.m. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. And then this is the time for your arraignment on these charges. So I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and let you know that you are presumed to be innocent. If you fail to appear at future hearings, not only can a warrant be issued for your arrest, but the hearings can go forward in your absence, including a trial. If you are convicted at trial and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear? Thank you. You're excused.
Yeah, go ahead and call those. Yeah, do. Okay, so just stand right there for me. Drop to the floor, come on in. Neck around. You say ground, so sit up here. Okay, so- Yeah, let's. Your Honor,
Yes.
Cervantes Manuel, he's also refusing to come.
Right.
All right, Mr. Hirschquit, we're gonna go sit down right here in front of the camera. All right, yes, sir.
Where do I go? Right here?
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Okay. Okay.
So I am going to continue Mr. Cervantes to tomorrow morning. All right.
Hold on one second. He's also got city court files, so you need to continue. So, just mark this right. Continue to AM refused. Like just put a plus through that. Yep. And sign each of the bottoms.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you please tell me your name?
Robert Barry Hirschkowitz. Here.
So still in the wait order again.
All right, so this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of domestic violence, assault. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney.
Martinez, okay. Yeah. Right. Search. Do that is. It's like. Yes.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Just a moment, sir.
Okay, all right.
Sit down right there for me, so. So, yeah. Ezra.
All right. So, what's your question?
The attorney, do I have that at this? It's not at this time, is it? No.
No, sir. As I was about to say, you have the right to hire an attorney of your choosing. In certain instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you. At this point in time, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your future court dates. If I do that, will you promise to appear?
I will,
Thank you.
because you're kind and generous and gracious enough to do that for me anyway. That's quite something.
I am going to put some further orders in place. Amongst those They are that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence. You may not have any contact with the victim in this case, and you may not return to the victim's residence. Do you have belongings there that you need to pick up?
I believe so, your honors.
All right, so I will order that you are allowed to return once with a law enforcement escort to retrieve your belongings. You will take my order to the nearest law enforcement agency and they will escort you to pick up your belongings. You have your next court date is an arraignment on March 10th at 10:30. That is at Pima County Justice Court. You are ordered to appear at that hearing, and if you fail to appear at that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Did someone, is it my response? Can I get a card for that to remember or something?
You're
Or
going-
is it on?
You'll,
Yes, go ahead. please.
you'll receive paperwork with the court date before you leave.
Okay. And go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's all I have.
No.
You are excused at this time.
The only last thing, dear, your honors, I don't know where I'm going because if I'm not going home, where would I be going to stay?
Absolutely. There is a trailer outside that is transitional services. They can help you with that.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Okay.
they'll be open in the morning.
So I'm staying in here tonight. All right.
No, you'll be released. You cannot go home though.
Oh, and I go to
You
the
go
trailer
anywhere
you want, right?
You go anywhere you want, except your home.
Okay. And then again, this trailer is open tonight?
It's open tomorrow morning.
I see, sir. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Gratitude. Can I get up?
Yeah, go out the door, go down the stairs, sit with the meals.
Okay.
Leo. Let's sit down right here in front of the computer.
Wish you all the best of luck.
Please go outside.
Good evening, ma'am. Would you please tell me your name?
Leo Overa.
Miranda Warren.
And is that it's in here
Yeah.
probably?
Yeah.
Great.
And then is that at charge?
It looks like they're all old charges.
Yeah, I would just check to be sure. Yeah, there's only the 2025 case. Yeah, so she doesn't. Those are warrants. So it was just picked up on the warrant.
Great. All right, ma'am, it looks like you are here for your initial appearance on warrants on a Marana DUI case, as well as warrants out of Tucson City Court involving several counts of drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass, and resisting arrest.
It just says that she's been previous attorneys. So.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And now we're going to talk about your conditions of release on the city court cases. Well, actually, I'm going to start with the Marana court case. If I were to order your release today, you would have court in Marana at 10 a.m. on March 5th. Are you able to attend that court date?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then your
I have so much going on. I don't know if it's in the list. I look at those cases. She has in city court and she doesn't go ever. You see the line right now. Maybe she wants for housing.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
all right, I just thought.
Yeah.
It's just one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So on the Marana DUI case, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm further going to order that you do not drive without a valid license, that you possess or consume no alcohol or drugs. Your court date will be March 5th at 10 a.m. And then moving on to the city court cases, there are several cases here in which you have been failing to appear for your court dates. So on these cases, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500, that you do not drive without a valid license, that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages, that you do not go to the incident location for the trespass case, and I am going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. And then what do you, right, but oh, there it is. Let's just wait. Okay. All right, so your next court dates on the city charges are going to be, if you remain in custody, it will be February 14th at 1:45 before the Honorable Judge Mayhew. And if you were to post bond and be released, it will be March 5th at 2:30. You are ordered to appear at those hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you have any questions? Thank you. You are excused.
Miss Leah, going to go outdoors, sit down with the females. Rodriguez, Manny.
Great. Good evening, sir. Can you please tell me your name?
Manny Rodriguez.
Thank you. You are here tonight for your initial appearance on charges of assault and disorderly conduct. Those are domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And I'm going to turn now to your conditions of release. Oh, okay, that's why. All right, so I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your next court date. Your next court date will be March 10th at 10:30 a.m. for an arraignment. That's in Pima County Justice Court. Further, I am going to order that you commit no acts of domestic violence as a condition of release. The victim did indicate that you could return to the residence and that he would like further contact with you. So I'm not going to order anything prohibiting such contact. You are ordered to appear at your court hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, please go to sit down with the males. Ezra, stand up. Ezra, stand up, sit right here.
Good evening. Could you please tell me your name?
My name is Ezra.
Is it Ezra Raul Bustamante Lupz?
Must be Ramirez.
Great, sir. You are here for your initial appearance on charges of threat or intimidation and criminal trespass. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney. And I'm going to turn now to your conditions of release. I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your future court date. Your court date is March 5th at 9 a.m. in Tucson City Court before Judge Hale. I'm further going to order that you have no contact of any kind with the victim, Alicia Martinez. Do you have somewhere to go, sir, when you're released?
Yeah, I got somewhere to go.
All right, then. You are ordered to appear at your next court date. And if you do not appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is also the time for your arraignment on these charges. So I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and let you know that you are presumed innocent. If you fail to appear at future hearings, not only can a warrant issue for your arrest, but the hearings can go forward in your absence, including a trial. If you are convicted at trial and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand that? Sir, I couldn't understand. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
I'm the sheriff. Step out. Mr. Gates, Christopher.
Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Christopher Martin Gates.
Great, Mr. Gates, this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of interfering with the judicial process. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney. And I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender's Office. Their phone number will be on the paperwork you receive. Turning to your conditions of release, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500. That's cash. And that you do not go to the incident location should you post that bond and be released. This is also the time for your arraignment. So I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and let you know that you are presumed innocent. If you fail to appear at future hearings, a warrant can be issued for your arrest and the hearings can go forward in your absence, including your trial. Should you be convicted and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failure to appear?
Yeah.
And that court date, if you remain in custody, is going to be February 14th at 1:45 p.m. And if you post bond and are released, it will be March 24th at 2:30 p.m. They're both in front of the Honorable Judge Verena. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
All
are
right, Mr.
excused.
Gates, you can go up the door downstairs, sit with the males. Harper.
Hello?
Good evening. Can you please tell me your name?
Sorry.
Mr. Harper, you are here tonight for your initial appearance on charges of domestic violence assault. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And in certain circumstances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you. Turning to your conditions of release, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your future court date. Court date is March 7th at 9 a.m. in Tucson City Court before the Honorable Judge. I forgot. My understanding is that Ms. Moreno is present. Ms. Moreno, would you like to be heard?
Yes, that's okay.
Thank you. Please go ahead and let me know if you have something you'd like me to know before I enter my conditions of release.
Well, the mother is well aware of what happened. I just talked to her. She had any issues with him returning, and she said no. So I already told her I am okay with him returning as well.
Sorry, is this Samantha Moreno who I'm talking to?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Um,
Yeah, and the court date you said was March what?
all right, sir, it's March 7th at 9 a.m. before Judge Million. So the conditions of release are that you commit no acts of domestic violence and that you appear at your court hearings. Do you have any questions? Thank you. You're excused. Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Lundine?
Sorry, did you say Matthew Lundine?
No, Sean.
Okay, that's what I have. Thank you. All right. You are here tonight for an initial appearance on some warrants for criminal trespass and new charges of also criminal trespass and drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain circumstances, one may be appointed for you. Turning to your conditions of release, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at future court dates. That future date is March 5th at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Cranshaw at Tucson City Court. Further orders include that you do not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you do not return to the incident locations of the trespass charges. I believe this is also the time set for your arraignment, so I will let you know that I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf, that you are presumed innocent, that if you fail to appear at future hearings, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Those hearings can also go forward without you, including a trial. And if you are convicted at trial and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
Notice. Yeah, right in front of the camera.
Good evening. Please state your name.
Jacob Milnes.
Thank you. This is the time set for your initial appearance on several failure to appear warrants, including interfering with the judicial process, drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney, and in some circumstances, an attorney will be appointed for you. Turning to your conditions of release, sir. Looks like you've had several charges going on for a couple of years now, and have failed to appear for those. So I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500. Should you post that bond, I am going to further order that you do not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you do not go to the incident locations from the criminal trespass charges. Sir, this is also the time for your arraignment. So I am going to let you know that I will enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. If you fail to appear at future hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. The hearings can also go forward without you, including your trial. And if you are convicted at trial and you fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you can lose your right to a direct appeal. If you remain in custody, your next court date is going to be February 14th at 1:45 p.m. And if you post bond and are released, your next court date will be March 11th at 9:30 a.m. Those hearings are in front of the Honorable Judge Sergio. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're excused.
Nino, Martin,
Yeah.
you're up.
Hello,
Good evening. Please state your name.
Martin Nino?
Mr. Nino, you're here tonight for your first appearance on charges of criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And in certain circumstances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you. I'm going to talk about your conditions of release now.
Yes, ma'am.
There isn't anything
It
about,
just
oh,
was repetitive.
okay.
But that's is only fine.
Yeah. So I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to further order that you do not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you do not go back to the incident location of the criminal trespass or disorderly conduct.
Okay.
This is also the time for your arraignment. So I'm going to let you know that I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, that you are presumed innocent, that if you fail to appear at any future hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. And not only that, but the hearings can also go forward in your absence, and that includes your trial. And if you are convicted at trial and you fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you can lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Right, ma'am.
Your court date is going to be March 12th, 2025 at 9:30 in the morning, and that is in front of the Honorable Judge Maldonado at Tucson City Court.
Okay.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Go down the stairs to the mail. For now, and don't.
Good evening. Please state your name.
No, McClellan.
Thank you. You're here today for your initial appearance on failure to appear warrants on criminal trespass, possession of prescription drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia charges. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed for you. Turning to your conditions of release. because you have been failing to appear for these cases, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500. I'm further going to order that if you do post that bond and are released, you should possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you should not go back to the incident location of the criminal trespass. I am going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender to represent you. Their phone number will be on the paperwork that you receive. Your next court date is going to be February 14th at 1:45, and that's before Judge Hale at Tucson City Court. However, if you were to post your bond and be released, then your court date would be March 5th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And that is also in front of Judge Hale. If you fail to appear at those hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. This is also the time set for your, no, these are not new charges, so it is not. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yeah.
Thank you, you're excused.
Downstairs, stop this one. For 2 minutes.
Good evening, sir. Please tell me your name.
Martinez.
All right. Mr. Martinez, this is the time for your initial appearance on charges of burglary of a residential structure. Oh, here they are. All right. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. And I will be appointing the public defender to represent you at this time. And there is counsel seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing. I have reviewed the information provided by pretrial services. I have also reviewed the state's recommendation of a $10,000 bond. Would the state like to be heard any further?
Just briefly, Your Honor, I would note that there is a probation hold for Mr. Martinez, and he does have a felony history.
Thank you. And would defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking for a $2,000 bond for Mr. Martinez. He is fully employed. He has lived in Tucson for 25 years. And he is fully employed. And however, there is the probation hold. So we're asking for a $2,000 bond for time.
I am going to impose a bond of $5,000 that is cash or secured. Should you post that bond, you will have the further conditions that you not have any contact with the alleged victim, and that starts actually before you are released, so you shouldn't reach out to the victim from jail either, and that you not return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be February 18th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court, and that is for your preliminary hearing. If you do not appear for that hearing, a warrant may issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
And this is for you.
Oh, I probably should have done this.
He's on probation.
Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Paul Manny Rodriguez Miranda.
Great. Mr. Rodriguez, you're here for your initial appearance on charges of domestic violence, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. That's what I was. Hold on.
Your Honor, just so the court is aware, I am here present for Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. He's up here. Okay. All right. All right. So I am going to appoint Angel.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Is it just the misdemeanor?
Yeah.
Is it felony in the calendar? Okay.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. All right. Angel Raymond is here on your behalf. Is that correct, Ms. Raymond?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, yes.
All right. Okay, so turning to your conditions of release. Would Ms. Raymond like to make an argument?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding. So just a couple things. Mr. Rodriguez is currently subject to court-ordered treatment under Title 36. And his case manager had submitted paperwork to the jail clinical staff earlier today, including a revocation requesting that he be transported to Sonora. I believe that that should be sitting on someone's desk over at the jail. My client is currently out on bond for a felony matter, but he is in restoration and Judge Fell's court. He has been found not competent, not restorable by the restoration doctor. We have a contested competency hearing scheduled for March 17th. We're asking that Paul be released in this case so that he can go to the inpatient behavioral health facility. And he will need to be appearing for that matter on March 17th, which I can organize with the mental health facility.
Okay. All right. Thank you, counsel. I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at future court dates. Your next court date in this case is going to be scheduled for March 10th at 10:30 a.m. That's for your arraignment in Pima County Justice Court. I am further going to order that you commit no acts of domestic violence.
Yes, ma'am.
If you were to fail to appear to future court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. It sounds like your attorney may be able to assist if you are in treatment at the time of your court dates. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, our next person's a Spanish speaker.
Is the interpreter present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Gonzalez, Chavez, Hondo. Okay. Okay.
Good evening, sir. Please state your name.
Buenas noches, señor. Por favor, diga su nombre.
Orlando González Chavez.
Orlando González Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. You are here for your initial appearance on, it looks like failure to appear warrants.
Buenas noches, gracias. Está aquí, señor González, en su comparecencia inicial por no haber presentado en la corte una vez.
Re-adjudication. No, that's in from 2023.
Oh, right. Okay.
Re-adjudication. Yeah.
All right. And these are on charges of criminal damage to property, DUI, and vicious animal biting.
Y estos son cargos por daños a propiedad privada, por andar conduciendo bajo los efectos del alcohol y por hacer daño a los. I'm sorry, can you repeat the vicious animal biting? Can you repeat that for me? For the interpreter?
Absolutely. Yes. It sounds like there was there are charges that the dog was at large and that it bit someone.
Okay, y también hay unos cargos de que el perro andaba suelto y el perro le mordió a alguien.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Tiene el derecho a guardar silencio, todo lo que usted diga se puede y se usará en su contra.
You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed for you.
Tiene el derecho a contratar a su abogado que usted quiera y en ciertas circunstancias se puede nombrar un abogado que lo represente a usted.
And I am affirming the appointment of Carlos Betancourt Morales to represent you.
Y estoy afirmando el nombramiento de Carlos Betancourt Morales para que lo represente a usted.
And I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500, cash or secured.
Voy a ordenar que se quede detenido o bajo una fianza de $500 en efectivo o garantizado.
Should you post bond and be released, I am going to further order that you have no contact with the alleged victims and that you do not return to the incident locations.
Si a usted paga la fianza y sale en libertad, voy a ordenar que usted no tenga ningún tipo de contacto con las presuntas víctimas y tampoco que regrese al lugar del incidente.
Further, that you do not drive without a valid license and that you possess no alcohol or illegal drugs.
Además, ordeno que no puede conducir si no tiene una licencia válida para conducir, que no consuma bebidas alcohólicas o drogas ilícitas.
Your next court date is going to be February 7th at 1 p.m. That's for a case management conference, and that's at Pima County Justice Court.
Su próxima audiencia es el 7 de febrero a la 1 de la tarde. Es una conferencia de caso en el Pima County Justice Court.
She'll fill that in for you.
Okay. And that hearing is before the Honorable Victoria Steele. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. Should you fail to appear, a warrant may issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Y esa audiencia se va a llevar a cabo en frente con la juez Victoria Steele. Si usted no se presenta en esa corte, se puede emitir una orden por su arresto. ¿Usted entiende las consecuencias de no presentarse en corte?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
Gracias, señor. Ya se puede retirar.
Your Honor,
Yes.
our next person is deaf. Do I have the art interpreter in line from? The part.
Oh.
Jail. The court interpreter asked to go last because they had something else before this and then needed time to set up. They're not there and ready, correct? Then we'll just save Mr. Devor for later.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Dunmire. Martinez. Leo. Find it. Isabelle. All of it. Isabelle. Ortega, Francisco, United. Harris, Salvador. Suarez, Santiago. Valenzuela, Juanita. Chavez. Now I want you to go around, stake around, all right? All the room and stake around. Lord, you get a chance, whenever you get a chance. Brian, please go up first. Let's stand over. Please. Yeah.
Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Anise Bryant?
Ms. Bryant, you are here tonight for your initial appearance on charges of possession of dangerous drugs, narcotic drugs, and drug paraphernalia, as well as some warrants out of Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to counsel, and we are appointing the public defender to represent you in the felony cases. And there is counsel present next to you for the purposes of this hearing. Turning to your conditions of release, I have had the opportunity to review the pretrial services information. I have also reviewed the state's recommendation of a $3,000 bond. Would the state like to be heard any further? And would defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge. We're asking that Ms. Bryant is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond. She does appear to be eligible for Smart Court. She's a lifelong resident of Tucson, and all of her recent history, Judge, appears to be drug related. So we're asking that she's released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond.
Right, I am, based on the failures to appear, going to order a bond of $1,000 in the felony case. I am further going to order that if you do post that bond and are released, that you possess no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you possess no firearms, that you are released to pretrial services and comply with any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Your next court date is, oh, it didn't say that in there, but based on
I
these,
think you just missed it, yeah.
okay. You are likely eligible for the STEPS program. That is a pretrial diversion program. If you were to be accepted and to successfully complete that, it's possible that the state would not go forward with the charges. Are you interested in that?
Yes.
All right, so your next hearing is going to be a hearing to find out more about that program and determine if you are eligible. That is on February 13th at 9 a.m. And then I still go with this one. And then your next hearing after that is going to be your preliminary hearing. In this case, that's for February 18th at 1:30. It's possible that that hearing will not go forward based on the results of the steps hearing. So you will want to keep in good touch with your attorney to make sure you know what your court dates are.
Okay.
You are ordered to appear at your hearings. Failure to appear could lead to the issuance of a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so now we're going to turn to the city cases. And those include also charges of drug paraphernalia, Okay. All right, so I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear on those charges. Further conditions include that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. And your next court date for the city court charges is going to be March 11th at 9:30 a.m. in front of the Honorable Judge Surio. And I think they want us to appoint the public defender. And I am going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender to represent you on those charges.
Okay.
Do you understand the consequences of failure to appear for those charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You are excused.
Man, you go down the stairs, sit with the females, all right? Dunmire.
Oh, you pulled it up. Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Marcus Dunmire.
Mr. Dunmire, this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges including theft of means of transportation, burglary in the third degree, possession of burglary tools, possession of dangerous drugs, and drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I have reviewed the information provided by pretrial services. I have also reviewed the state's recommendation for a bond of $20,000, and I have reviewed the interim complaint. Would the state like to be heard any further?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just note that Mr. Dunmire was on probation. He was placed on probation in December 2024 for theft of means. It's again alleged he committed the theft of means in this incident. He has other felony convictions involving vehicles. While he does not have a probation hold at this point, I would expect that to be forthcoming. So at this point, Your Honor, I think the $20,000 bond is appropriate.
Thank you. And would the defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Dunmire is released to pretrial services. There is no probation hold. He is fully employed. He lives with his family in town. So we're asking that he's released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a lower bond.
All right. I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $10,000 that is cash or secured. That if you do post bond, you be released to pretrial services. Further, that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, that you participate in monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, that you have no contact with the alleged victims and do not return to the incident locations. And I am appointing Cornelia Hanchar to represent you in these cases. Her phone number will be on the information that you receive. Your next court date is going to be February 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is at Pima County Justice Court. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. Should you fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, I have a couple questions.
I would recommend that you ask the attorney, and I will give you just a moment to do that.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm going to do that.
No other questions, Judge.
Thank you. You're excused.
Yes, Matthew.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Matthew Morris Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. You're here tonight for your initial appearance on charges of aggravated domestic violence. And it looks like we also have city court charges. Do you think that's all of them?
Yeah, there's a new charge of failure to comply.
Including, oh, okay.
And it's not.
Including a new charge of interfering with a judicial process or failure to comply and criminal trespass that are on warrant status. Okay, so I'm going to start, well, I'm going to start by saying that you have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. And today I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on the felony charges. And there is counsel seated next to you for the purposes of this hearing. It's my understanding that your mother is also on the line. Ma'am, would you like to be heard regarding his conditions of release? Ma'am, if you are speaking, we cannot hear you. You may need to press *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. Yes, there you are, ma'am. What would you like to tell me?
Hi, this is Norma Martinez, Matthew's mom. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. My son needs to go to inpatient rehab mental health. He has mental health issues real bad. And he needs help with that. And his crystal meth addiction. He needs help with that too.
Thank you, ma'am.
And he don't have no home. He doesn't, let me finish. He don't have no home. This is not his home anymore. He keeps coming over here and I have to keep calling the police. He used to stay at the wash, but somebody took his tent, his clothes, all his belongings is gone. He don't have no home to go, no place to go. So I appreciate it if you could, like I said, he needs to go to inpatient rehab mental health.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate your input and your care for your son. I have also reviewed the information provided by pretrial services, and I have reviewed the state's recommendation of a bond of $9,000. State, would you like to be heard any further?
Yeah, I knew, he knew, yeah, I know about that.
Sorry, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm
sorry.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, counsel.
I would just note that Mr. Martinez is on misdemeanor DV probation. When he committed this offense, he has prior felony convictions. He has a long misdemeanor domestic violence history. For those reasons, Your Honor, I believe a bond is appropriate. And that he's shown a history of not complying with court orders. So for those reasons, I think a $9,000 bond is appropriate.
Thank you very much, counsel. Defense, would you like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Martinez is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond. Any bond is going to be akin to no bond for Mr. Martinez. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson, and he does not live with Ms. Martinez. So we're asking that he's released to pretrial services.
Sir, at this point in time, I am going to order that you be held on a $5,000 bond. Should you post that bond and be released, you'll be released to pretrial services. I'm going to further order that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you possess no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'm going to order that you do not have any contact with your mother at this point in time, and that includes while you are still incarcerated, and that you do not go back to her home. As I said, the public defender is appointed to represent you. Your next court hearing is going to be February 18th at 1:30. That is in Pima County Justice Court, and it's for your preliminary hearing. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. Should you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences?
Yes.
Thank you.
Arrest. Thank you.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Downstairs, see what moves.
Oh, wait, did I?
The city court. Yeah, we need him back.
I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah, I really want you guys looking. Oh, shit.
Can I get your card back? Oh, stay at the city court stuff.
My apologies, sir. I did still need to address your city court charges, which you are here for as well. So I mentioned before, those included interfering with a judicial process, criminal trespass. On those charges, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. I'm going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you, and your court date will be.
It's not intimate partner,
right? So
yeah,
this one will be February 14th at 1:45.
Thank you, ma'am.
And that is before the Honorable Judge Cranshaw.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
Sir,
you're releasing him on this, so you give him.
Same.
For that, wait till.
Oh, sorry, sir. Your court date is actually going to be March 13th at 9 a.m.
All right.
That's still before the Honorable Judge Cranshaw. It's also the time set for your arraignment in that new city court charge. So I'm also going to tell you that I'm entering pleas of not guilty on your behalf on that charge, that you are presumed innocent, and that if you fail to appear at your future hearings, not only can a warrant issue for your arrest, but they can go forward without you. And that includes your trial, should you be convicted and then fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand those consequences of failing to appear?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You're excused now.
Judge, just to be sure, you said March 13th is the city court hearing?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Stand up.
Thank you. You would help me. I can't walk. I need a wheelchair though.
You're walking fine. Barely. You're walking fine. You're up.
I believe someone on the phone. Oh, okay. They've gone now. All right. Good evening, sir. Please state your name. Thank you, Mr. Mascall. This is your first appearance on charges of burglary. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You're also here for an initial appearance on some failure to appear charges for threat or intimidation out of Tucson City Court, and you also have the right to remain silent on those cases. You have the right to hire your own attorney, and in certain instances, an attorney will be appointed for you. On the felony charges right now, I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and you do have counsel seated next to you for the purposes of this hearing. I have reviewed the information provided by pretrial services, and I have also reviewed the state's recommendation for a bond of $2,500. Would the state like to be heard any further?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Mascall is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, to lower bond. He appears not to have any felony history, and this pretrial services identified this as a non-violent charge.
All right, I'm just going to do. Okay. All right, sir. I am going to order on the felony charges that you be held on a bond of $1,000. I am further going to order that if you post that bond, you be released to the custody of pretrial services, that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, and that you do not return to the incident location.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Just a moment, and then we'll give you a chance. Turning to the city court charges.
I'll look at this.
Okay. On the city court charges of threats or intimidation or causing damage to property, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. I am going to order further that you do not go to the incident locations and that you have no contact of any kind with the victims. Your court date in that case is going to be March 12th at 9 a.m. And I am appointing the city public defender to represent you.
Released on city hall on felony.
Oh, sorry, I had that backwards. It's not March 12th, it is March 21st.
Bernardo and
And then your next court date on the burglary charges is February 18th at 1:30 p.m. And that is at
Charges of what?
Pima County Justice Court. Those are the original charges.
Unmuted. He charged burglary of what?
Sir, I will recommend that you discuss that with your attorney. All right, so you are ordered to appear at both of those hearings. That's February 18th at 1:30 in Justice Court and March 21st at 9 a.m. in City Court. Should you fail to appear for any of those hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. This is also the time for your arraignment on the city court charges. And so I'm going to tell you that I am entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf for those charges, that you are presumed innocent, and that if you fail to appear at future hearings, not only can a warrant be issued for your arrest, but the hearings can also go forward without you, including your trial. And if you are convicted and you do not appear for sentencing within 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failure to appear for court?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And did you still have a question, or will you just talk to your attorney? All right, sir, thank you. You're excused.
Isabelle, Olivas.
Ma'am, please state your name.
Isabelle Olivas.
Great, Ms. Oliva, this is the time set for your initial appearance on, it looks like a few different things, including charges of possession of narcotic drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Those are new charges, and then she's got a warrant for failure to appear at her arraignment.
Right. And then additional drug charges that were on warrant status for failure to appear at your arraignment. And then also for driving with a suspended or revoked license. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney, and today I am appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you. Turning to your conditions of release. I'm going to start with the new charges of drug paraphernalia. Does the state have a recommendation? Oh, I see it here. I couldn't find it. I have seen the state's recommendation of $7,500. Do you have anything further to add?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe also on this interim complaint is an allegation of possession of narcotic for sale because of Ms. Olivas's prior felony history, including the pending charges and the allegation of drugs for sale. We would ask for
Okay. And would the defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Ms. Olivas is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond. She's a lifelong resident of Tucson, and if you're released, she'd go to her mother's house.
All right. On the new charges, I am going to. Oh, I'm in the old charges. Okay. Okay. Great. I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $5,000. That'll be cash or secured. If posted and released, that you be released to pretrial services, that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. And your next court date in that case will be February 18th at 1:30 p.m. That is in Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. And then on the failure to appear for drug charges. I am going to order, does anyone want to be heard further on recommendations for the rest of these, or are you satisfied with what you've already said?
nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Just since she's going to be held on a $5,000 bond, we're asking for a time credit.
Thank you. I am going to order a $500 cash or secured bond on this one with the same release conditions. That if you do post, you be released to pretrial services, that you have no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And the court date will be February 13th at 1:30. That's for an arraignment in Pima County Superior Court. And then on the final, driving with a suspended license. On that one, I'm going to order a bond of $100. Do not drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And I am going, and I am going to appoint Caitlin Waters to represent you in that matter. Her phone number will be on the paperwork you receive. Your next court date for that hearing is going to be February 7th at 1 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court. You are ordered to appear at all of your hearings. Should you be released and fail to appear at any of your hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
Ortega.
Ortega, he's got 2 warrants out of Santa Cruz County. They're asking for $500, and we hold them on $500 bonds, and then you're just gonna settle it in hearing. Something like that. He's being held on a superior court matter, so you'll just set review hearings in a month. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that'll track what's happening with his superior court.
Thank you. Good evening. Please state your name.
Good evening, Your Honor. Francisco Ortega.
Mr. Ortega, this is the time set for your, is this an initial or is this a review?
Initial on warrants.
For your initial appearance on a couple of warrants that are out of Santa Cruz County. They are on charges of forgery, theft, disorderly conduct, assault, endangerment, and failure to appear. Sir, it's my understanding that you are currently being held on local charges as well, and those charges are not in front of me today. You have the right to remain silent on all of your charges. Anything you say can be used against you, and I am going to set this for a hearing in 1 month, for a review hearing to see if you are still being held here on your local charges or if you have been released to Santa Cruz County. And on both of those cases, your bond is $500 cash. You are ordered to appear at any future hearings. Do you have any questions about the consequences of failing to appear?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Judge, does he have an attorney appointed for this matter?
No.
Okay.
And that was really throwing me off. 2-6 versus 3-6. Okay. Yep. Oh. This is
So
different.
that's a justice court one. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So just call him on the justice court case. He's gonna have a hearing actually on February 20th at 9 a.m. We'll do it by video.
Have a justice court matter, and you are going to be seen on February 20th at 9 a.m. on that matter.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So I have a question. So I'm being held on $500 bond here.
Yes. Yeah.
So do I need to do something
For the justice court one? Okay. Yeah. Right, okay, okay. Nope. You're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ramirez.
It looks like warrant warrant out of
New charges out of city. All of them, that's-
Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Salvador Ramirez.
Great, Mr. Ramirez, you are here for your initial appearance on a warrant out of Nogales for charges including theft of transportation, vehicle theft, and use this one. Okay. And then you also have city court charges including criminal trespass and drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney, to hire your own attorney, and in certain circumstances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you. Turning to your conditions of release on the warrant out of Nogales, I am going to honor the $5,000 bond that was requested there. And then I'm going to set this for a review hearing for March 6th at 9 a.m. That hearing is to determine whether you are still here handling your local charges or whether you have been released to Nogales. Is that good thing? Okay. And then turning to your city court charges. Oh, my. I was thinking. On your city court charges, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500 and that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you do not return to the incident location for the trespassing charges. I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. And your next hearing is going to be February 14th at 1:45 p.m. And that's going to be before Judge Verena in Tucson City Court. You are ordered to appear at the hearing. Should you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. I believe you will still be being held on your warrant until then, but if you were released and you failed to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Okay.
Thank you. You're excused. I feel like I did one.
Yeah, you get all of those.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Warrant, sit up.
Good evening, sir. Please state your name.
My name is Santiago J. Suarez.
Good evening, Mr. Suarez. This is the time. Thank you. This is the time set for your initial appearance. It looks like we have a couple of different things going on for you, including warrant on charges of kidnapping and aggravated assault, domestic violence, and city court charges related to domestic violence, and additional domestic violence and failure to appear. All right. Okay. And that'll be this one.
Yes, yeah.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and tonight I am appointing the public defender to represent you on the felony charges. There is an attorney seated next to you for the purposes of tonight's hearing. I have reviewed the state's recommendation of a $15,000 bond, and I have also reviewed the information provided by pretrial services. Would the state like to be heard further?
Yes, Your Honor, we are recommending a $15,000 bond due to the nature of the offense. This case does involve allegations of intimate partner strangulation. And for those reasons, we know that intimate partner strangulation is associated with higher mortality for victims in the future. Your Honor, I will acknowledge that this case was filed some time ago. It's a 2023 case number. But despite that, I think a bond is appropriate, given the pending unresolved and new misdemeanor domestic violence charges against Mr. Suarez, and the nature of this offense. I would ask for a no contact order and a $15,000.
Would the defense like to be heard?
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Suarez is released to pretrial services. Pretrial services identified him as the lowest level of supervision needs. This warrant he never received any notification of this matter. He wasn't served with a summons, and he hasn't received any notice of this. And I believe he wasn't even arrested on this initially. So additionally, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson. He has confirmed housing and no felony history. So we're asking that he's released to pretrial services.
Great. For the felony charges, I am going to order the bond of $25,000 at this point in time. Should you post that bond and be released, you will be released to pretrial services. You'll be ordered to commit no further acts of domestic violence, to possess no firearms or weapons, to submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, to have no contact with the alleged victim, and that starts now. So you should not be reaching out to the alleged victim even while you are in custody. Do not go to the victim's residence or workplace. And were you in a shared residence?
I was.
Judge, do you mean with the victim in the case, or?
Yeah.
No, he lives separately.
Okay, great. All right.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. That's for the city court?
No, what's this one? He's set for an arraignment.
Oh, I thought okay. Your next court date in this case is going to be February 13th at 1:30 p.m. That's in Superior Court, and that is for your arraignment. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. If you are released and you fail to appear at that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. And then turning to the city court case.
Today, there's no PC, right?
Let's see. Let me just
There, that's a form. MC. So, yeah. high risk.
Right. Yep. Okay. On the city court charge, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear and the hearing date is going to be February 12th at 1:30 p.m. before Judge Million. I am ordering that the Tucson City Public Defender be appointed to represent you in that case. And if you were to fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. This is also the time for your arraignment on that charge. So I am going to tell you that I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf, that you are presumed to be innocent. If you fail to appear at future hearings, not only can the warrant be issued for your arrest, but the hearings can go forward in your absence, including a trial. And if you're convicted and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear? Thank you. You're excused.
No, he's
Oh,
the justice court.
I'm sorry, you have another case. I didn't see that one. All right. So you also have a charge of domestic violence, assault out of justice court. I'm not. I think okay.
Mr. Control, all units, I get terminated or I get terminated. Everybody please go to your original frequency. Stand by for
So on these charges, you also have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and we are going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you in this case. Her phone number will be on the paperwork you receive. Your next hearing in that case is going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. And that is at Pima County Justice Court before the Honorable Renee Garza. I'm going to order a $500 bond in that case. And that you have no contact with the victim and do not go to the victim's residence or workplace. If you fail to appear for your hearings in that case, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
I understand.
Thank
Got
you.
it.
You're excused.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Oh, you can do it. Oh, great. Thank you. All right. Good evening. Please tell me your name.
Juanita Guzman, Valenzuela.
Ms. Valenzuela, this is the time for your initial appearance. You have a warrant out of Pinal County on charges of possession of dangerous drugs and narcotic drugs. Is that it? And then you also have city court charges that were on warrant status of assault, criminal damage to property, and disorderly conduct. Is that everything? Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. And in some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
My family's going into resident war on this, but tell her she has to get in touch with Pima County on the lots and issues. Is that really what it is? Why? She's got first.
Okay. All right, so starting with the warrants out of Pinal County, I am going to affirm the requested bond of $5,000. And I am going to set a review hearing to see if you are still being held here or if you have been released. And that hearing is going to be March 6th at 9 a.m. And that's in Pima County Justice Court. And then on the city court charges, it's all here, right?
These are from 2020. Yeah, that's small.
Judges, I am going to order that you are held on a bond of $500. I'm going to order that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal substances, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you have no contact with the victims. And I'm going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. And your next hearing is going to be February 14th at 1:45 p.m. And that is before Judge Mayhew. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. Should you be released and fail to appear at that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes.
Because these aren't new. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
Thank you.
Judge, I believe that's the end of the felonies. May I be excused?
Let me just check the part interpreter.
So she's good to go.
Yes, that is a misdemeanor, so you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, be excused as well, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
So this will be Evera.
Oh, that was city court. Sir, please state your name.
My name is Lawrence Ibarra, date of birth 10/25/1992.
Thank you. This is the time for your initial appearance. It looks like you are here on warrants for assault, disorderly conduct, and contributing to the delinquency or dependency of a minor.
He's being held on.
And it looks like you are also being held on a felony. So regardless of what I do here today, I don't believe that you will be released. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed to represent you. I am looking at your conditions of release for these charges. And I am going to it's only felonies. Okay. I am going to order on these charges that you are released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be March 6th, 2025 at 9:30. If you are still in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. Any previous release conditions are affirmed, and I am also indicating that you must commit no acts of domestic violence.
Your Honor, I have court for sentencing on that date, March 6th. Can we do March 5th? Please and thank you.
It is for Ibarra, and we're just looking for, oh, sorry, it's Judge Moreno.
And is he being held on a felony?
Yeah.
Being held, so it'd actually be, that ends, you know, date, it's right there. He's being held.
Oh, okay.
Being released on this stuff, and it'd be that date.
Yep. Okay.
I have court on the 6th. I have court on the 7th.
Sir,
Sir,
I am going to change your court date. It's going to be March 21st, and that is at 9:00 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that is before Judge Moreno. You are ordered to appear at that hearing. If you were released on your other charges and you failed to appear for that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, Your Honor. For a quick question, I had got sent to Texas, to Santiago, Texas, to the county out there. That's the only reason I never showed up to the misdemeanors. I thought honestly they gave me like time served or something like that. That's what I was thinking. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm not ordering that you be held on the misdemeanors. You are being released. Because you're being held on something else, I have ordered that the city public defender be appointed to represent you. So you'll be able to talk to them about that. Thank you.
Right, thank you, thank you, Your Honor. Have a blessed day.
So go stand up. Won't put you back.
I think I just gave you my list of need to do something with. Thank you. With myself.
In case they give you one of these, so where's the warrant? And the petition to revoke probation. So here, can I just see one?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Durham, you go back.
All right. Good evening. May I please have your name?
Judge, this is the card provider.
Oh, yes.
I'm not quite ready. I'm almost set up, but not quite.
Okay, thank you. Let me know when you're ready.
Thank you.
Some interesting language there. Okay.
But it's not whatever. Whatever. Everything more this sport. And last one. It's getting a lot of shiny body. These are little bit. It's something about my science words. And the worst is going to crazy. It's just stop.
None of these are domestic violence. Would this just indicate that maybe he had? Like, why would he have this sheet?
It's mental health.
Oh, it's also mental health. Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that the chart interpreter is present.
I'm sorry, Judge. For some reason, my power keeps going out. 1 second.
Okay.
The same lady.
The same lady. I don't need to put a court date on this one, right?
Okay, Judge. Sorry about that. Try again.
Thank you. All right. Sir, may I please have your name?
Wake up. Great. Stay.
Brett Dever. This is the time set for your initial appearance in some cases out of Tucson City Court, including possession of drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass, theft. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and today I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. Regarding your conditions of release on these charges, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500. That's cash or secured. Should you?
I'm upset about that. Really upset. Really upset about that, but okay.
Thank you, sir. Should you post that bond? I'm further ordering, sir. I'm going to need you to let me finish.
Nobody cares about that at all. I don't know why I came. Why is that? I don't know who cares, but you didn't get in jail. What's going on?
Should you post that bond? I'm further ordering that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you do not return to the incident locations from the criminal trespass or theft cases.
The judge, you and shut up, the brain. Oh, I'm upset about this. Really upset, Jim. Will you help me? Please, please, will you help me? It does.
Your next court date in these cases is going to be February 13th, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. It's in front of Judge Blue from Mental Health. Should you be released and fail to appear for that hearing, it may issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
I understand, that's either.
Okay,
This, I understand, sir.
sir, I'm appointing the Tucson City Public Defender to represent you, and they will be able to answer any of your questions. That's all for tonight. You're excused.
The bad bitch. There you go.